The quest is called A Moment Alone, and I actually think it's a sad quest because we are losing a loved character. Or have lost, as in, if you didn't see in the live stream, we lost Elizabeth Sunbeam. So I think it's now time to mourn her and hold the funeral. Before we look to the future, we must pay respects to the one who brought us this far. Let us meet there to honor Elizabeth. Not a funeral, a chance to celebrate her legacy. It's a nice ride would do as all some good. Alex, are you coming? I'll be right behind you. I just need a moment alone. Okay, Alex, if that's what you need. Don't forget we love you. Yeah. I just need some time to get my head together before I can say goodbye. Could you maybe meet me before the memorial and we can ride there together? Thanks for understanding. Thanks for meeting me here. I just needed some space. I hope the others understand. We should start riding. I used to think that everything would be alright once we got Anne back from Pandoria. Elizabeth would point the four of us in the right direction, we'd blow some stuff up, and hey, peace restored. Then reality comes and punches me straight in the face. Guess I had that coming for daring to hope, huh? Hope can never be bad, Alex. She needs some support. I try not to blame myself for what happened, but I just can't stop thinking about her. We get into fights more times than I could count. She was always scolding me for being too reckless, and don't get me started on her stupid rules. But before her, I never had that, you know? I know my mom loved us and tried to provide for 5 kids as a single mom as best as she could, but it wasn't enough. She wasn't there. I had to figure out how to keep food on the table, how to keep her clothes clean, where to hide the things you cared about so they wouldn't get stolen. I was always bailing James out of trouble, but there was no one to catch me when I fell. Until Elizabeth. When I did something stupid, she was the one who picked me up at the station. When I failed, she would tell me to try again. All those rules weren't her trying to make me into someone else. She was helping me to be my best self. It was love, and I was too stubborn to see it. Elizabeth was the first person to see me as not just some angry kid raging against the world, but as someone better, someone who could be a hero. She was right. You are a hero, Alex. Thanks, Holly. That means a lot. But losing Elizabeth is more than just losing a family. She was our leader. More than Fripp, she was the one who showed us what it meant to be a soul rider. Losing her, it's too much. I don't know if I'm ready to move on, Holly. I don't know if I can. You're not alone. We can help. This way.
Here I am, though I wish I was braver. We all came here today for a last goodbye. Leave a rose on a grave of a mother. We will ride again, like the sun. You live on, a new dawn. It's the morning sky in our hearts. You live on.
How are you holding up, Alex? Life goes on, right? I'll be fine. Look, Alex. Everyone will tell you that you have to move on. Like it's something you can get over. It's not. It will be with you all your life. It's something that you need to make a part of you because you must live with it. Things might never be fine, but that's okay. It's up to you how to handle that. Just don't forget that you have friends that are willing to be there for you. I think I can do that. Thanks, Lisa. Elizabeth might not be with us anymore, but we are still soul riders. We'll stand by each other. Every time we will honor her memory. At times like this, I find it easier to express my feelings with my guitar. Stay and listen if you'd like. Do you think Elizabeth, wherever she is, can hear my song? Elizabeth! I wish I had got the chance to know her. She meant so much to all of you. Do you think you could tell me a bit about what kind of person she was? Elizabeth always knew how important it was for us to be together and stand as one. I think she understood better than anyone what it meant to be a soul rider. Of course she did. She used to be a soul rider just like us. Wait, what? At first, when we all met, I wasn't ready to accept this as my destiny. As a Von Blissen, you have certain expectations to live to. That's what I was always told. I had to be careful of who I associated with, or I would put my family's reputation at risk. And of course, competing at dressage at my level requires daily practice. It's not as if I could give up on all that to chase monsters in the night. And my powers didn't come easy. I saw how Alex's gifts just flowed out of her, almost as if it were intuition. It didn't help that Fripp expected even more of me than my own parents. I tried to hide my struggles from the others, but Elizabeth saw right through it. She took me aside and told me about her own journey, how lost she felt when she first discovered her magic, how she came to understand and find confidence in who she was. Elizabeth spent a lot of time with me after that, teaching me about what it meant to be part of the Sun Circle. From all her help and guidance, I learned something far more important than magic. She taught me to step up and be myself. I found my place among my friends and eventually dared to tell my parents about my own dreams. Adults might seem like they have all the answers, but they struggle, just like the rest of us. I'm glad that Elizabeth wasn't afraid of showing that. When I would ask her a question that she didn't know the answer to, she would still encourage me to go find the answer and give me the guidance needed to find out more. Even the times when she didn't tell us everything, I think it was still her way of trying to protect us. Even to the point of being overprotective. No one is perfect. We're all the sum of our experiences. Not only a good mentor, but someone who cared a lot about all of you. Will you still be alright with all this magic destiny thing without her? If Elizabeth taught us anything, it's that we have to count on each other. Alone, we don't have the courage or the answers to go on, but together, we'll be a team. It's all Elizabeth ever wanted. Nice mingling, guys. Nice mingling. I can't stop thinking about when Elizabeth first came to Jorvik Stables to ride her first horse. Was she a great rider? Oh, she would be, but I dare say it'd take her more than a bit of work to get there. If Elizabeth had met her Concord when she first arrived at Jorvik, perhaps she would have had a little help from AD in figuring her way around a horse. But as fate would have it, we hadn't found her star breed. Poor girl, she was stuck taking her first steps as a soul rider and training with one of our training horses. Riding didn't come easy to Elizabeth. I'd never seen a girl so timid around a horse, but she came back day after day not just to ride, but to learn everything about stable life. She wasn't afraid to get her boots sturdy, and she never gave up. Determined to succeed in whichever task she attempts, it sounds like she never changed much in that aspect. She used to have so much love for all horses too. That was one girl I could tell was shining strongly with AD's light. Do you have any stories about Elizabeth, Spy Master? When I first got the news of what happened to her, can you guess what my first thought was? Were you in denial? That's what you'd expect, but my first thought was, oh no, I never returned her hairbrush. Once I caught myself thinking like that, I was distraught. Why would that matter now? For some reason I couldn't help thinking about it. You'd be surprised how difficult it is to get a decent delivery of hair products when you live in a cave, so I often ended up borrowing things from Elizabeth. She has better hair anyway, so we could swap self-care tips. Thinking about those silly little moments and realizing that they're all gone now, it was just too difficult to comprehend. It wasn't until Lucien climbed up on my rope and gave me a comforting nudge that I realized that I'd been crying. Strange thing how we deal with grief, isn't it? She was gone and a hairbrush was what made me break down. Tell me about the young Elizabeth. I remember the first time we went riding outside the stables. Once the beginners learn to sit on their horses without falling off, I like to take them on a short hack, just around the Greendale area. It's a short and easy road with few obstacles. On this one ride, though, something spooked her horse. Before I could calm it down, it had fled straight into the thick Greendale canopy in panic. I was standing there in shock. Thought one of the thick branches might knock her right off the horse. Imagine my surprise when just a few minutes later she came back unscathed, having managed to cling onto her horse and calm the panicked critter down. Something happened out there in the woods. I tried to pry it out of her, but she just smiled and said it was a secret between her and the runestones. To see her ride after that, it's as if she'd been around horses for years. If she'd been so inclined, she could have been one heck of a cross-country rider. But, well, destiny had other plans for her. What about her bond with Concord? The amazing thing about starbreeds is that since they are destined to bond with one special soul, always reflect an aspect on their rider. Like puzzle pieces waiting to snap together, and when it comes to the soul riders and their starbreeds, I've noticed that the rider will start to reflect the spirit of the horse the closer their bond. You've probably heard stories about the Concord and First Road. Oh boy, was that horse full of himself. He didn't just trot around the stables, he strutted. How much of that was born of Concord and how much came from what Anne needed at that time, it's hard to say. But every Concord I've met, and this makes 3 generations, beams with pride. Elizabeth Sunbeam was strong and determined from the day we first met, but she was shy. She let others take credit for her accomplishments. After she found her Concord, her confidence bloomed. She embraced her talents and wouldn't let any man push her to the sidelines. She earned a reputation as a bit of a firebrand stirring up trouble, and she broke more than a few hearts in those days. She was something else. Concord didn't just let Elizabeth become a soul rider through their bond. He helped her see that she could be a leader.